Good morning.
Oh,
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Doing well. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Okay. You awake now? I know. It's so funny how 8 o'clock seems so much earlier than 9 when it really isn't. It's like I'm up and around doing stuff, but I don't know.
On
Yeah.
a regular day, I would have been up hours ago. So,
Oh yeah. I know. I know. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Instead of a regular, just a word drill, I'm doing a finger dexterity drill,
okay.
okay, to get us warmed up. So, all right, here we go. Oh, let's see here. All right, here we go. Creak, slight, thigh, ground, brain, snake, sheet, fret, sweet, streak, swell, thorn, flirt, plush, shift, cloak, flower, prince, sleeve, front, probe, skull, climb, flex, swim, dodge, sty, thief, stream, lift, whack, whiff, thud, thug, roast, crude, these, glance, shame, graft, prim, float, preach, clutch, skip, clear, froze, sway, strike, cheer, bread, sneer, grand, slick, chart, blame, drag, blind, clam, fling, prod, plant, style, cliff, grim, fruit, then, whim, grab, check, thrift, charge, bluff, trees, crate, fluff, speed, slash, flint, stuck, floor, dream, tread, strain, treat, snow, fright, snooze, grouch, wheat, flop, sleek, grade, thread, spell, prick, thing, skin, clock, while, sweep, third, glad, speak, sleet, fresh, blunt, brick, cheese. All right. Now I have some proper first names. Here we go. Clark, Craig, Bryce, Opal, Gary, Rose, Eric, Katie, Sally, Jack, Judy, Jean, Blair, Glenn, Claire, Betsy, Mark, Ann, John, Gail, Matt, Andy, Dean, Rudy, Carl, Bart, Carrie, Lisa, Etta, Lois, Troy, Fred, Dale, Lena, Tony, Lana, Mike, Gary, Greg, Jill, Ella, Jeff. All right. Now I have some consonant compounds that focus on the final side, final RK, final RJ. Here we go. Hark to the song of the lark. They thought it was a lark. Evil lurks behind every door. The court charged the jury. They will charge it to you. Larks have a beautiful song. It was a stark picture. She went on a money spending splurge. She charged all of her purchases. We encourage initiative. Have the pictures enlarged. She was urged to comply. The stork was on its way. He was a victim of the purge. Sharks have such ugly teeth. We have a lot of work. That dog barks all the time. His quirks were revealing. It was a quirk in his nature. Marge was encouraged to proceed. All right. My next drill is the of the drill. Okay, here we go. Of the rail, of the snow, of the cage, of the toe, of the tail, of the land, of the clock, of the book, of the mail, of the cat, of the boat, of the skirt, of the pest, of the ridge, of the load, of the shirt, of the gap, of the hip, of the fog, of the tile, of the view, of the large, of the yard, of the neck, of the yarn, of the kite, of the stick, of the wire, of the coat, of the stone, of the bat, of the store, of the spine, of the lot, of the stove, of the sound, of the zoo, of the dock, of the ship, of the pole, of the bird, of the door, of the nail, of the sand, of the style, of the man, of the rain, of the pants, of the fork, of the spade, of the pile, of the mat, of the nest, of the tape, of the shark, of the road, of the lip, of the wind, of the cart, of the wick, of the year, of the jet, of the cap, of the jack, of the pipe, of the joke, of the vine, of the house, of the light, of the plot, of the car. All right. Names with addresses. Here we go. Belmore Memorial Library, 2280 Bedford Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710. Attention, Mona Corman. Ms. Rhonda B. Jagnow, Jagnow, Victor Central School, Victor, New York, 14564. Kelly M. King, King, 850 Tomaria High School, Tomaria, Wisconsin, 15348. Let me say that again, 53048. Mrs. Diana A. Russell, Russell, Newark Senior High School Library, 110 Wright Street, Newark, Ohio, 43050. Ms. Rhonda B. Jagnow, Jagnow, Victor Central School, Victor, New York, 14564. Miss Pauline G. Dorward, Dorward, Bureau of Employment Services, 1100 Cleveland Avenue North, Canton, Ohio, 44710. Miss Heidi C. Albertson, Albertson, 2340 Northwest Avenue, Vinland, New Jersey, 08360. Catherine M. Homer, Homer, Amherst Central High School, 4301 Main Street, Amherst, New York, 14256. Deborah A. Anton, Anton, Valesco Chemical Corporation, 2559 East Ohio Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60612. All right. Now we have some Tangle Tamers. All right, here we go. Willful or malicious, synonymous with possession, intimidation or conspiracy, voluntary giving and receiving, proof of possession, self-addressed envelope, contrary to popular belief, 4-inch by 7-inch, unconscious from intoxication, by guarantee to grantor, normal business affairs, inhabited or unoccupied, most important requisite, incurring legal liability, ordinarily sufficient, emancipatory statutes, ostensible authority, voluntary manslaughter. All right. Now I've got some briefs with sentences. So I'm going to give you the brief first, and then I'll read you the sentence, okay? or the sentences, I should say. All right. If there's anything you want to know that you don't know, just let me know. Otherwise, you can write it out if you don't want to know the brief, if you don't know it. Okay, so here we go. Essential, eventual, examining room, industrial, industry, let the record reflect, may I approach, motion granted, motion denied, operating room, potential, procedural, proceeding, prudent person, recovery room, refresh my recollection, refreshed my recollection, respondent, search warrant, so help you God, Social Security, solemnly swear, something like that, to my knowledge, to my recollection, to your recollection, to your knowledge, under the circumstances, what is your full name? What is your business name? I write that out. I don't really do these, but it's, it's still good practice if you don't use the brief. What is your address? What is your age? What is your name? What is your position? So is there anything you want me to give you? Or do you just prefer to, I don't know at this point if you want to even, pick up any new ones?
Respondent. What was that respondent?
Respondent is SPONT. And then responsibility is just SPONT. So the only difference is the long O for respondent.
Let me see if there's anything else. Because some things, I'm like, I don't want to adopt that now. Just write it out. But there's another one that I thought was good. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Well, I'll check my software. Hang on.
Sure, no problem. I'm dating this anyway, so.
Let's see.
Do you know So Help You God?
I write it out. What do you have?
I do SCOD.
God, that's good.
God, yeah.
When I do that whole swearing in brief or like blurb,
yeah,
I write it out. So if they even do So Help You God, I tack on God to my brief and it writes it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There was something else though. Hang on one second. What do you do for voluntary?
Voluntary, I do.
Or voluntary manslaughter is what it was.
Voluntary, I do VO, and then if it's voluntarily, I just come back for L long E. Or you could do LAE. Or you could do VOL, but I do voluntarily, I do VO, come back for L long E. There's like 3 different ways you can do it.
See, I do VONT, vont, for volunteer.
Uh-huh.
And then when I want to add voluntary, I just put on the Y, and it does voluntary for me.
Okay.
How do I do it?
You do initial Y?
I do VONT, vont, like that's volunteer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and then I just do vont, and then I add RY for voluntary. Voluntary is voluntary.
Yep.
Then voluntarily. What do I do? I've just been writing it up. But voluntary manslaughter seems like a good, maybe it's just vaunts. I do vaunts or vance. Vaunts, VONS.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Forgot it.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. No, that's good. And then do you use the phrase for may I approach, MAPE?
I do moch.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That works. And then motion granted, MOG.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
That's a really good one.
And then motion denied, I do MOD. And then if mod ever came up, I would flag it because motion denied comes up a lot more than mod, you know?
MOD. Oh, that's my method.
Oh, okay.
But that's so wait, motion granted is mode, and motion
Yep.
denied. Oh, that'd be mode if I flag it.
Yeah. I do a short O, MOD.
MOD. That's my method.
Okay.
Oh wait, you know what? That's an old one though. I do thawed for method.
Okay.
So I could change that. I could
Yep.
change that to motion denied. That's a really good one. I like that.
Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah.
Operating room, do you do ORM?
ORM.
Yeah. All the
Okay.
rooms are RM. So like operating room,
Yeah.
recovery room would be R, final RM.
Wow, I just don't know that I would remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
You
know?
have to be, I know that's the tricky part. It's like you got to be,
Yeah.
familiar with it. Recovery room, initial R, final RM.
What about when you do emergency room? Do you do ERM?
I do initial M, final RM, emergency room.
That's master bedroom for me.
Oh, okay. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? They're good because you can now I can just do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You have, you've got some,
I have
options.
emergency, and then I just add on room, so I just write it out.
Okay. And that's,
But you know what? It's so great. One little change can save you time, and then you're not falling behind. And
yes, yes,
yeah,
I know. Something like that. Do you use, well, they have Slack, SL long AK or Slake. I write it SLAT, something like that, SLAT.
hmm.
What was another one? Oh, under the circumstances is UTS.
That's my United States.
Oh, okay. I do UNS for that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's under the influence.
Yeah. Nope.
Uh,
Social Security, they have SS.
yeah, you know what? That's what I thought I had, and I wrote it that way, and it didn't translate. So I'm wondering what I did.
Huh.
I
Oh,
don't know.
prudent person, PRUP.
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay, good. Let the record reflect, LEKT.
That's electric for me.
Oh, okay.
But I do have one for that, and I always mess it up. Oops, I can't. I'll have to go look it up.
And then examining room, initial X, final RM.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. So now I'll give you the sentences.
Okay.
All right. I know that bit for some reason this page is a little tricky.
Yeah,
so.
we can spend all day doing that. Like
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Water is essential for life. And they have just SERBL. The eventual end of the world is near. The doctor was in the examining room. It was industrial cleaner. Bob was the best in the industry. Let the record reflect this statement. May I approach the bench, Your Honor? It will be granted. Motion granted. No, motion denied. Where is the operating room? That's just ORM. Liz has the potential to be violent. It is procedural to do this. You may proceed, counsel. Proceed, PR, long ED. The proceeding will take a while. Jen is a prudent person. Joe lay in the recovery room. Please refresh my recollection. Thank you. That refreshed my recollection. He is the respondent in this matter. The police needed a search warrant. I do SWAR, but they have it as SW. Do you swear, so help you God? Do you receive Social Security? I do solemnly swear to tell the truth. It was something like that. To my knowledge, he was employed. To my recollection, he liked fruit. To your recollection, did he wear white? To your knowledge, did she date? Under the circumstances, we will leave. What is your full name? What is your business name? What is your address? What is your age? What is your name? What is your position at the company? I write all of those out. What is your, just because I feel like if they change one little word, it's going to throw you off. Yeah. All right. We'll move into literary and jury charge. Get all my drill books down here. Clear out some room. All right. So we'll go ahead and start with some literary, okay? And I'll do, I will pick up where we left off from the OJ book that he wrote. All right, here we go. And I'll start at 180 and work my way to 200. Here we go. Charlie reached the gate, and the first thing I noticed is that he wasn't smiling. OJ, my man, what's up? He said. It sounded kind of forced. What's up with you? I said. I went over and opened the gate, and he stepped through, and we shook hands. What brings you to these parts? Not much. I was out to dinner with some guys down in Santa Monica. Thought I'd stop by to say hello. You've got a strange look on your face, Charlie, I said. Is something bothering you? Charlie looked away, avoiding my eyes. It's nothing, man, he said. Come on, I said. You can tell me. He looked back at me, struggling with his thoughts. You're not going to like it, he said finally. My stomach lurched again, and right away I knew this was about Nicole. Charlie nodded when I asked if it was about her. What about her? I said. You're not going to like it, he repeated. Just tell me, I said, already riled, before I get pissed off. Charlie took a step back like he thought I might hit him or something. A couple of these guys at dinner tonight, I guess they didn't know that you and I were friends, he began, tripping over his words. They started talking about this little trip they took to Cabo a few months back, in March, I think it was, and about these girls they partied with. Yeah? Charlie took a moment. It was Nicole and her friend Faye, he said. I'm listening, I said. I tried to stay calm, but I was fit to explode. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of drinking, and apparently things got pretty kinky. Why are you fucking telling me this, man? I hollered. I turned and had to fight the urge to put my fist through the Bentley's window. I'm sorry, man. I thought you'd want to know. Well, I don't want to fucking know. I'm sick of hearing this shit. I'm sorry, he said. That is the mother of my children. I know, man. I'm sorry. That's why I told you. I know you two have been through a lot of shit, and I know it can't be easy. And I thought maybe if you talk to her. Talk to her? What the fuck is wrong with you? I've been trying to talk to her for years. She won't listen to me. She won't listen to her family. She won't even listen to her friends. OJ, man, I'm not the enemy here. I turned around fuming and tried to count to 10. I didn't make it. By the time I got to 3, I realized that Charlie was right. He wasn't the enemy. Nicole was the enemy. I looked at my watch. I had less than an hour before the limo showed up to take me to the airport. Just enough time to drive down to Bundy, read her the fucking riot act, and get my ass back to the house. Come on, I said, and moved toward my Bronco. Where are we going? He asked. Just come on. Charlie got in. I started the Bronco and the gate whirled to life, and I pulled into the street, the tires squealing against the curb. Where are we going, OJ? Charlie repeated. We're going to scare the shit out of this girl, I said. What now? It never fucking ends. Every time I turn around, it's something new, and none of it is pretty. This isn't a good idea, OJ, he said. Fuck that. I'm tired of being the understanding ex-husband. I have my kids to think about. I'm asking you, man, please turn around. That woman's going to be the death of me, I said. I was seething by this time, and I began to mimic her. I want to grow as a person, OJ. I want to find myself. I'm tired of everyone seeing me as OJ Simpson's wife. I'm tired of living in your shadow. OJ, please. You want to know how crazy it got? I said, ignoring him. After the split, after she dumped me, she began calling to tell me about the guys she was dating. Oh, OJ, do you think they like me for me? Or do they just want to get into my pants? And you know what I did? I told her to just have fun. I told her she was a great girl and not to worry and to go with her gut. Guys will be lining up around the block for you, I said. You're gorgeous and you're smart. I know you'll pick the right guys. Is that twisted or what? I would think, what the fuck are you doing, OJ? And then I would answer my own question. Well, the sooner she gets this finding herself shit out of her system, the sooner she'll be back. That's fucked up, man, Charlie said. Tell me about it, I said. I glanced over at him. He looked scared. Relax, man, I said. I'm just going to talk to the girl. And it will be quick. I'm leaving for Chicago on the red-eye. I shouldn't have told you, Charlie said. No, man, you did the right thing. This is exactly what I needed. Something to shake me up. This shit has been eating away at me forever, and it's going to stop. I want to get on with my fucking life. I've got to get under control. You should let the lawyers handle it, he said. Fuck the lawyers. You know what divorce lawyers are? They are the scum of the earth, preying on people at their weakest and most vulnerable. I know. I've given those scumbags $1 million already. Maybe they owe you then. Fuck them, I said. I'm going to take care of this myself. We were at Bundy by then, where it meets San Vincent Boulevard. I jogged left for a few yards and made a quick right to get back on Bundy. We passed the light at Montana, and I slowed near Nicole's place. I kept going, though. I took a ride on Dorothy and an immediate right into the alley behind her condo, and I pulled a few yards past it and parked on the far left, near a chain-link fence. I cut the engine and looked back toward the condo. It was so quiet, it kind of spooked me. I looked at Charlie again. He seemed pretty glum. Which one is her place, he asked. I pointed it out. I don't like this, he said. Let's go back to your house. You worry too much, I said. What if she's with someone? She better not be, I said. Not with my kids in the house. I reached in the back seat for my blue wool cap and my gloves. I kept them there for those mornings when it was nippy on the golf course. I slipped into them. What the fuck are you doing, man? Charlie said. You look like a burglar. Good, I said. I reached under the seat for my knife. It was a very nice knife, a limited edition, and I kept it on hand for the crazies. Los Angeles is full of crazies. Nice, huh? I said, showing it to Charlie. Check out that blade. Put that shit back, Charlie snapped. You go in there and talk to the girl if you have to, but you're not taking a goddamn knife with you. He snatched it out of my hand, pissed. You've got to learn to relax, Charlie, I said. Then I opened the door, got out of the Bronco, and stole across the alley. Nicole's condo was one of 2 units, both of them long and narrow, mirror images of each other, fused at the middle. They had each had their own entry on Bundy, and they each had a back gate in the alley. But Nicole's back gate was broken. The buzzer didn't work properly, and the gate opened if you gave it a little push. I must have told her a million times, please get the goddamn gate fixed, but the woman never listened. I slipped past the gate into the narrow courtyard and moved toward the front door, and right away I noticed lights flickering in the windows. I moved past the front door to take a closer look. There were candles burning inside, and I could hear faint music playing. It was obvious that Nicole was expecting company. I wondered who the fuck it was this time. I wondered if maybe Faye was coming over with some of her boy toys so that they could all get wild and dirty while my kids were sleeping upstairs. Just as I was beginning to get seriously steamed, the back gate squeaked open. A guy came walking through like he owned the fucking place. He saw me and froze. He was young and good looking with a thick head of black hair, and I tried to place him, but I'd never seen him before. I didn't even know his name, Ron Goldman. Who the fuck are you? I said. I just came by to return a pair of glasses, he replied, stammering. Okay, so we'll stop there. We'll continue this next week. All right, now, jury charge. The subject here is a plea for probation. All right, and I'll start at 200. I'll work my way to 225, okay? All right. Here we go. At this time, Your Honor, on behalf of the defendant, Frank J. Casey, I would like to make an application for probation for this defendant. As the court knows, it is customary whenever a case comes before the court with the intent to get probation to ask the court for a pre-sentence investigation. This was purposely done, not done in this case, for this reason. So, when a man is a lawyer, his conduct has been above reproach, or when he would not have been able to get his license from the state. It is a necessary prerequisite to becoming a lawyer that your conduct be impeccable. Now, Judge, it is also true that when you get a license from the state of Illinois, or when you receive a law degree from a university, it does not cloak you. You are just as human as if you were a butcher, baker, teacher, or anyone else in the ordinary walks of life. Would that it were otherwise when you get a law degree, and that you and I and the defendant here were given certain powers at that time to resist temptation. But that is not the case. This man, Judge, has been subjected to very cruel punishment in the form of serious illness. He has been sick over a period of 10 or 12 years. He has not always been a bad man, as testified to here by his pastor, who feels very highly about the man. I believe the whole city of Morton feels that he was a good man. Even the complaining witnesses bear no malice toward this defendant. Now, the purpose of any punishment to a defendant is twofold. One is to protect the society and to gratify in some measure the people who have been injured. The other is for the rehabilitation of the defendant. I would like to ask the court how much further a man could go in an attempt to rehabilitate himself than the defendant in this case, Frank J. Casey. When he was sick and in the hospital, he sent for his pastor. The pastor told him to make himself clear with God, and it was with the purpose of making himself clear with God that he came into the state's attorney's office, told them about these cases, told them about other cases in which the statute of limitations had already run out, cooperated with them fully, took his files, his personal records, everything that they wanted, into the state attorney's office, signed statements, and answered every question. Now the court knows that maybe the state's attorney's office probably would have got him eventually in some of these cases, but Your Honor knows how difficult is an embezzlement cause before the court. This man could have fought for years, but he wanted to make peace with God. So he came in and confessed everything that was humanly possible to confess in connection with these cases, submitted himself to the court, and Your Honor is just waiting for your justice. I believe the man has been rehabilitated. He wants to make restitution to these people. I think he should be given a chance. He has suffered the greatest loss that a man can have. He has lost his license to practice law that he fought so valiantly to get. He has lost a means of making a livelihood in a profession that he has practiced for 20 years. What greater depth of human degradation can be asked of a man desiring to prostrate himself before the court? I think, Judge, if ever a man came before this court with the proper spirit of humility and ready to take his place in society, that man is Frank Casey, and that he should be placed on probation. I cannot say that I have ever felt as strongly for any other defendant that I have represented as I have for this man here. I now rest. All right. We'll go ahead and start some Q&A. The first one I have, it's more kind of like a drill. It's one of those that each question is completely different from the previous one. So I'll read this at 200, okay? All right. All right, here we go. Get my little box here. And this is going to be plaintiff, just Q&A. Here we go. How many hours a day do you watch TV? About 2 hours. What's your favorite sport? Swimming. What did you eat last night? Spaghetti. When did you go to that restaurant? Last night. What kind of work do you do? I'm a piano teacher. How do you like your steak? Always rare. Can you pay by card? No, they only take hard cash. What time do you get up every morning? At 7 o'clock. What kind of novels do you like? I like spy novels. Do you still feel homesick? Well, I'm getting over it a little. What do you do? What did you do yesterday? I swam. Where are you from? New York. How many hours a day do you sleep? I sleep 7 hours. What does TV mean? Television. How long does it take you to get to class? It takes 15 minutes. How do you get to school? By train. How often do you send emails? 2 times a week. Did you go to the theater last night or that night? Sorry, I had a business meeting that night. When did you mail that letter? After school. How often do you play tennis? Almost every day. When is your birthday? November 2. Where do you usually eat lunch? In the cafeteria. All right, so that was at 200. This next one will be defense questioning. And I'll read this at 225. Okay. All right. Here we go. You had people in your employ who did the work? That's right. How many people did you have? We had 3 people. Did these 3 people during the time period that they worked on the pond system also fulfill other duties? For the first 3 months, they didn't. After that, did you say? Well, after that, did they? Yes, I absorbed them into either the maintenance or the housekeeping crew. Are you saying that was in addition to their pond duties? No, we contracted it out after that time. Do people from the pool service have any other functions at your project in addition to working on the pools and the pond? The ponds and the pool service only. Do the same people do both? Yes, they do. Do you know how the time is split? They spend maybe half an hour, 3 or 4 days a week on the pool system, and the rest of the time is on the pond system. Did you ever have any discussion as to whether the cracks in the pond system were a maintenance type problem or another type of problem? We never discussed it either way. It was just discussed as being a problem, the cracks. Did you ever discuss with Mr. Sauce what type of sealant to use? No. Did you ever see a document from him recommending certain types of sealants? No, I did not. Was there any type of sealant that you used for cracks in the pond system? When we painted it, they simply applied it. Since that time, we have done no caulking on it. Have there been any cracks that you have needed to caulk? The same cracks remain. There are no new cracks that I'm aware of. Do you have any present complaints about the pond system? Just the water loss, the painting, and that type of thing. Okay, how often do you have to paint it at this time? We haven't painted it since that time 3 years ago. The water loss, to your knowledge, was just in the pond system. Pond system number 3 has a water loss. Do you know where the water loss comes from? No, I don't. Do you know whether there appears to be a leak, or is it evaporation, or what? There is as much as 4 or 5 inches of water loss in a 24-hour period. You don't know the source of that loss? No, I don't. Have you ever heard anyone express any criticism of the manner that the ponds were installed or constructed? Well, other than problems I mentioned before about the water loss and the check valves, no. Do you have any information that the check valves were not installed during or according to the plans and specifications? No. You testified earlier that you were told that the ponds were designed to run continuously 24 hours a day. Is that correct? Correct. I believe you testified that for some period of time you ran the ponds for approximately 24 hours a day, or closer to 24 hours a day than you normally have. Is that correct? At one time we ran them 24 hours a day for maybe a couple of weeks or something like that. When was that? I don't know the exact dates. It was several years ago. When you use the term couple, are you referring to or talking about 2 or 3? What does couple mean to you? 2 or 3 years ago. You also ran them for 2 or 3 weeks continuously? Correct. Do you have separate records of water used in each pond system? The amount of gallons in each system? No, I don't think so. All right. Switch transcripts. This is going to be for voice, and this is a court transcript. Plaintiff is questioning. Okay. All right, here we go. And this one I'll start at 200 and work my way to 225. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Were you involved in the shooting investigation on September 10th of 2015 regarding Kyle Smith? Yes. Do you see Kyle Smith in the court today? Yes. Could you please identify him for the record? Yes. He's an African-American male seated to my left of the defense wearing all orange. Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Kyle Smith? No objection, Your Honor. All right, thank you. The record will so reflect. Continue. During your involvement in the investigation, did you become aware of the defendant's affiliation with the 250 Prada Criminal Street Gang? Yes, I did. How did you become aware of that? After an address for the suspect, or Mr. Smith, and the other suspect, Mr. Lawson, was established, myself and a few other investigators executed a search warrant at Mr. Smith's residence. During that search warrant, I located several pieces of what could be considered gang paraphernalia. Initially was a red baseball cap, which is indicative of a person being a member of either a Blood or a Prada gang. The color red associates with both of those gangs. Also, during the search, I located a Metro PCS mobile phone agreement. On that agreement, the subscriber name was written as Trigger, and an email address, or a contact email address, was written out as trigger1@yahoo.com, I believe. The date was August 5th, 2015, indicating whoever written it or who had been assigned to it. I'm going to object as to foundation with regard to this contract. Now it's interpretive, sustained. What did you find? Did you find anything else besides the red baseball hat or the Metro PCS agreement? Yes, I also found a piece of mail containing the name. Oh, I might add that he had mail that had the address of 5075 Arlington Drive, number 257. Also in the same room, I found a piece of mail which contained Mr. Smith's name and that address, indicating that all of the property there belonged to Mr. Smith, and it was lying amongst all of his other property. Was the location that you were searching the same address that was on the document that you found with Mr. Smith's other articles? Yes. Did you review anything else with regard to the defendant's affiliation with 250 Prada? Yes. Throughout Detective Hearn's investigation, he was made aware of a Facebook page which was, according to Smith's girlfriend, controlled by Mr. Smith. I was made aware of the Facebook page in which you could publicly access Once I was on the page, the main picture of the person's profile was a picture of Mr. Smith. All of the writing on the page was red. The color theme of the page was red, which is consistent with Mr. Smith being a member of either a Prada or a blood criminal street gang. Also, as part of your investigation, did you make contact with Detective Raymond Simmons from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department? Yes, I did. Why is it that you made contact with Detective Simmons? Detective Simmons is an expert on the Prada 250 criminal street gang. Did you ask Detective Simmons about his training and experience with criminal street gangs? Yes, I did. What did he tell you? Detective Simmons told me that he's been a sworn peace officer in the Compton area, which is the area 250 Prada claims as their gang territory. He stated that he has been a sworn peace officer in that area for approximately 19 years and stated that he's been assigned to some type of gang task force for the past 11 years. Mr. Simmons also went on to say that throughout his career, he's been assigned to 3 federal gang task forces. He stated that he's also contacted over 100, 250 Prada gang members himself through investigations and arrests. He also stated that he's testified as a gang expert countless of times. He wanted to say that he keeps his gang knowledge current by attending classes on gang subculture and gang awareness. He stated that he is currently a member of the California Gang Investigators Association, and he also stated that he currently teaches classes to new trainees at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Academy. Thank you. Did you ask Detective Simmons about the territorial boundaries of the 250 Prada gang? Yes, I did. What did he tell you? He told me 250 Prada claims a specific territory within the city of Compton. It's near, I believe, the Compton Airport, and I don't recall the exact 4 streets that make up the territory, but I know that they encompass 250th Street, which is where the gang derived its name. Did you ask Detective Simmons how many members there are in the 250 Prada? Yes, Detective Simmons told me that at its peak, 250 Prada had approximately 100 members and stated now that he knows of 30 active members. Did you ask Detective Simmons if 250 Prada has any common signs or symbols that they use? Yes, Detective Simmons told me that 250 Prada criminal street gang members use several common signs or symbols in their apparel and their graffiti. He stated words such as 250 Prada, 250p, 250 neighborhood, different deviations from just 250 mostly. Did you ask Detective Simmons if one of the primary purposes of 250 Prada criminal gang, street gang, was committing offenses that are enumerated in Penal Code Section 182.6.25e? Yes, ma'am. What did he tell you? Yes, he told me that 250 Prada criminal street gang members participate in the pattern of criminal activity and have committed several of the offenses listed in the 186.25. Did you ask Detective Simmons about if 250 Prada has any rivals? Yes, I did. What did he tell you? He said, Detective Simmons told me Detective 250 Prada is considered to be a blood gang or a blood set, which would indicate they rival with any Crip gang, any type of Crip gang. I believe he listed with the Crips a few different Crip sets in the area. He also went on to mention a Hispanic gang. I believe it was a Compton gang. So the 250 Prada rivals with both African American and Hispanic gangs in the area. Thank you. Did you ask Detective Simmons if he was familiar with the defendant, Kyle Smith? No, I don't believe that I did. Okay, based on your participation in this investigation, the things that you reviewed, and your contact with Detective Simmons, do you have an opinion as to whether Kyle Smith is a member of 250 Prada? Yes, I do. What is that opinion? I believe that Mr. Smith is an active member of the 250 Prada criminal street gang for several reasons. First, the cellular cell phone contact in his room indicated that he utilizes several of the common signs and symbols utilized by the gang. The contract was signed on August 10th of 2014, indicating that he aligns himself with the gang as early as that day. He also had paraphernalia or clothing that would indicate that he's a member of a blood gang or a Prada gang. He is able to wear that clothing out to be seen by other gang members so they know what type of gang that he's from. Also, due to the fact that he maintains a Facebook page, which can be accessed by utilizing the gang's name, is a fairly strong indicator. Also, the theme of the Facebook page is red. Other indicators include that he was associating himself with a member of Neighborhood Prada criminal street gang just prior to the alleged offense, and the member, which is Mr. Lawson, of that criminal street gang. Your Honor, I object as to the statement that Mr. Lawson is a member of the 250 Prada street gang. I stated that he was a member of the Neighborhood Prada, ma'am, or the Neighborhood Prada gang. No foundation, sustained. Were there any other things on which you base your opinion that Mr. Smith is a member? Yes. In his association with, during his interviews, the way that he referred to himself and Mr. Lawson, the co-defendant, or what was the co-defendant prior to the plea, is Lil G, or OG. Lil G is a common street term used for little gangster, and OG is a common street term used for original gangster. So the two were, Mr. Smith was referring to the two as maybe gang partners, gang allies. Objection as to that conclusion calls for speculation, no foundation. Well, that's an interesting objection. How do you know that? Which part? The OG. The OG? Yes. I've contacted, like I said, countless gang members. During my contact with them, it's very, very common that the older or more established member of the gangs will be referred to as an OG. In speaking with them, OG, you come to the decision after they tell you that OG stands for original gangster. And just due to the fact that they're either tenured or they've established a reputation, or a lot of them have been around for so long that they're even out on the participation of criminal activity. Okay, that's good enough for me. It's also my opinion that, sorry, go ahead. Objection, no question pending. Is there anything else that you considered in your opinion that the defendant is a member of the 250 Prada? Yes, it's also my opinion that actually this was not necessarily that he was a member, more along the lines of the benefit of the criminal street gang for the crime is what I was going to mention. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, how come you didn't ask what was the name of that detective down in Compton? Detective Stevens. Okay, yes. Why didn't you ask him if he knew this guy? To me, that is fundamental. Why wouldn't you ask that question? Well, generally speaking, young criminal street gang members will establish their association in a particular area, establish their alignments with whatever particular street gang they are with, and they'll commonly move out of the area. I just took it for granted and assumed that Mr. Smith had moved from the area prior to Detective Stevens ever having a chance to contact him, mainly due to the fact that Mr. Smith has no criminal history, not really any type of situation where he would have been contacted by Detective Stevens. You know what they say about assumptions, right? Yes, sir, Your Honor, I do. Go ahead. Thank you. Now, Deputy Johnson, are you familiar with Daryl Terrell Howard with a date of April 2nd of 1989 birth date, who committed a violation of Penal Code Section 211 on March 5th of 2012? Yes. How is it that you are familiar with that individual? I spoke with Detective Stevens about this particular case and this individual. And what did he tell you about the case and that individual? Detective Stevens told me Hall was a member of the 250 Criminal Prada with a moniker of Jump. Detective Stevens stated that he had reviewed the case and believed that Mr. Howard to be a member of the criminal street gang. I said Hall, but I meant Howard. Okay, did Detective Stevens tell you that Darnell Howard was convicted on that case under case number MR084814? I don't remember specifically, but if it's in the report written as that, yes. Would it refresh your recollection if you looked at your report? Yes, it would. With the court's permission, is that okay, Your Honor? Sure, go ahead. It looks like case number MR084814. Are you familiar with a Demetrius Reynolds with a birth date of December 17th, 1968, whom on September 19th, 2010, committed a violation of Penal Code Section 12021A1? Yes. How are you familiar with that individual? Detective Stevens provided me with information regarding Mr. Reynolds, stating that he is a member of the 250 Prada and believed his moniker to be the name Poppy. And did Detective Stevens tell you that Demetrius Reynolds was convicted on that case under the case number MR760115? Yes. Based on the knowledge of this case, your participation in the investigation, your review of the discovery, do you have an opinion as to whether the crimes committed in this case were for the benefit of, at the direction of or in association with a criminal street gang? Yes, absolutely. What is your opinion? Based on my training and experience and all of the things that I have learned and come across in dealing with gang members, the number one aspect of gang subculture and gang lifestyles is respect or reputation. Acts of violence such as shooting at a person is the number one way to gain respect and or reputation by any gang member. So that Mr. Smith shot the victim not only enhances his reputation and the amount of respect that other gang members have for him, he's also enhanced the respect and the reputation of the 250 Prada criminal street gang members. As stated, when he was interviewed by Detective Hearns, he didn't call the police because then he would be a snitch. In gang lifestyle, that would mean absolutely no respect whatsoever would be had by him. Also in the interview, he says, win or lose, I still gain the respect. That indicates that the most important thing for him during that time was to try to gain respect for himself. As a normal civilian would know, a person shooting another person would not mean any respect whatsoever. It would be frowned upon by society. But in criminal street gang settings, that's the utmost way to gain respect. Thank you very much. Nothing further. Cross-examination. Thank you, Your Honor. Did you conduct an investigation on Mr. Stubbs' background regarding the 250 Prada gang? Yes, I did. Did you find anything? No, I did not. Okay. You don't have any information about Mr. Smith being jumped into the 250 Prada, do you? No. Mr. Smith didn't sign any gang card, did he? No. Are you aware of any tattoos that Mr. Smith has on him regarding the 250 Prada gang? No, I don't. That's it. I have no further questions. Thank you. Anything else? No, Your Honor. All right. Thank you, Deputy. Thank you, Your Honor. Anything else? The people rest as far as testimony. We would ask that exhibits number 1 and 2 be moved into evidence. No objection. All right. Thank you. They will be admitted. Affirmative evidence, counsel? No, Your Honor. People's motion? The people move that the defendant be held to answer for all of the crimes chargeable by the evidence. Ms. Seitz, submit on all counts except for the street terrorism count 3. Okay, the reason being is that I don't think that they have established that Mr. Smith was acting at the direction of or for the benefit of or in association with a criminal street gang. This seems to be a personal fight between the victim and Mr. Smith, with the victim pursuing Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith acted the way that he did because he was in the fear that the victim was actually going to come back and kill him. It didn't have anything to do with the street gang. I don't even think that there's enough evidence to say that Mr. Smith is actually a member of a street gang. All of that, there is some paraphernalia found in his room and a website with a red background, but just on that, I'm going to submit. Do you wish to be heard? No, Your Honor. The court has a reasonable suspicion that the crimes charged in the complaint have been committed and the defendant has committed them. He will be held to answer for those crimes and all crimes shown by the evidence in the trial court on December 23rd at 8:30 in Department 4. And Michael, what is his bail set at? It is set at $300,000. Bail is actually set low. All right, I'll leave bail as set, but bail is set low. All right, exhibits 1 and 2 will be returned to the DA. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. So really the bailiff was the one that said $300,000, but I just used it as the witness because, obviously I don't have a way to sign the bailiff.
Good one.
How was that?
That was good. It was, it was tough, but it was good. I really liked it.
Good.
I had a good flow.
Good. That's awesome. Yeah, that whole second half was at 2:25. I didn't even notice Catherine came in.
Yeah.
Hi, Catherine. When did you come in?
I jumped in kind of I think I've been in for like 6 minutes.
Okay. I was going to say, wait, I didn't even see you before I started the Q&A, so that's why.
Yeah, no, I jumped in right in the middle of it, so.
Oh, did you know about that we had class today from 8 to 9?
No, I didn't know the time difference. That's why I just jumped on.
I'm sorry. Well, I know Robert will post it right away. Because I'm going to upload it right now and then he'll post it right away. So you can go back and
I had a feeling because I'm like, this isn't usually how we warm up. This is like really
wow, she's already at 2:25. Yeah, so I have to tell you guys. So my son, I don't know if you know this, but he's having a baby. in
Oh,
yes. So his
today?
girlfriend is due in February.
Oh,
Today is their 3D sonogram. So they asked me if I wanted to go, and I was so excited.
yeah,
So
of course.
yeah. So that's why we had class early because
Congratulations.
oh, thank you. I know it was a shock. They weren't, of course they weren't. I mean, they've been dating for 4 years, but it was a shock. But they're excited, and so they're
What is it, a boy or a girl?
girl.
The girl.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
girl. Yes, yes. They're gonna name her Paisley, which I think
I love it.
isn't that cute?
So cute.
I know. So so they don't live too far from us, so at least we'll get to see the baby often because they don't live far. So, and it's kind of funny because my daughter lives in she lives in Cambria. She's a school teacher up there, and she's only been there a year, and she's like, I'm coming back, I'm homesick and I want to be by the baby. So I think she's going to probably move back in the summer and hopefully find a teaching job closer around, somewhere around here.
Your son's girlfriend having this baby?
Yes.
So you're going to be a grandmother.
Can you believe? I know. It's weird. I know. And I feel like he's so young. He's going to be 23 in a couple of weeks. But I told my husband, that's how old we were when we had our kids. I was
good energy then.
Yes. I was 21 and my husband was 23. So I said, that's about, that's how old we were. But I know we were so young. But you figure it out,
Yeah, but I mean, now you have a ton of time and you're going to have so much time and energy to spend with that little baby. How fun.
Yes, I know. I'm really excited. So we're getting so excited.
Well,
so
congrats. That's awesome.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I'm going to upload this class right now. So it shouldn't take Robert long if you want to rewatch it or go back, Catherine, and watch the beginning, the first, 45 minutes of it.
I'm going to do that very first drill you did over because that was kind of a good drill. I really liked it. But I didn't do that well, so I want to go do it now that I'm warmed up.
Good. The finger dexterity one?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Good. Oh, good. So see, there is a difference between that and just the words that I read. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
There's more of those. So I'll tackle that more.
Yeah, I like consonant, compound, so it's good.
And it's nice because they're grouped in threes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I liked it.
All right. All right, you guys. Well, have a wonderful weekend, and then I will see you next week.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Have fun.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.